What's up, everybody, and welcome to the J&K Show. I'm your man, J. Rob. Got my brother from another mother, K. What's good, brother?
Yo. What's good, man?
I'm good, man. A lot of stuff going on in the news. It's Halloween today. The weather is still nice. It's almost damn near summertime still.
Right, yeah.
Damn near 80 degrees here in New York.
But I'll take it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Indeed.
So anyway, we got some great stories I want to start off the day with. All right. So obviously we got about, I don't even know. There's about maybe 6-7 days left to election day.
Yep.
It's tough out there. It's a tight race. Now, somebody in this race has got some advantages going on, okay? You know what those advantages?
Yeah, I'd like to know. Tell me.
It's called white privilege.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
So what I mean by that is, Kay, Van Lathan has his own podcast. He used to be on TMZ, has his own podcast right now. He was talking about this white privilege by one of the candidates, and only one of the candidates is white.
Maybe.
The other one
Allegedly.
is black.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. One of them is all white. And a little orange, too. It is Halloween. He's a little orange, too. So anyway, Van Lathan was on the podcast talking about how Donald Trump can basically say anything he wants to say. I think he even said at one time he can go down on Fifth Avenue or somewhere in Manhattan and shoot somebody. He can still get away with it, right? He's made statements like that in the past, something to that effect, right? He can say the most racist things. He can say the most idiotic things. He can say almost anything. And his supporters, knowing all of this, will still vote for him. Now, at the end of the day, listen, you can vote for whoever you want to vote for, and you have that God-given right to do so. I agree with that. But it comes to a point where if there were certain other candidates saying the things that Donald Trump says, there's no way in hell that they would get away with it and still have this race being so damn tight, which it is right now, right? But Donald can. Why? Because of white privilege. That's why. So, my question to you, Kay, and you've seen the clip. I showed you the clip that Van Lathan recorded talking about all this white privilege and getting away with everything that he can because he is white. Do you think, number one, that Donald Trump does have white privilege? And do you think that all the crap that he has said, and there's a lot of stuff been going on, you know, talking about calling all of us Americans that the Americans that we're in a garbage can? Crazy, right? So anyway, do you think that white privilege stands when it comes to Donald Trump and running for president?
So I think I think being in America, I think it's a go-to move, right? It's easy-ish for us to invoke the race card because race is woven into the fabric of so many things within this country. It's just kind of who we are. It's one of the things this heterogeneous society is what makes this country up, and as a result of it, things are drawn along racial lines. Well, no disrespect to the brother Van, who I certainly respect.
Okay.
But I tend to think what drives often what our response is, and when I say our, meaning us as Americans, to say Trump, in this instance, is less to do with, as you said, white privilege, and more to do with power, money, and power. Listen, we've got a history in this country of white men also being canceled, too, right? Where authorities have come after them for any number of reasons, more recently for some of these indiscretions in and around sexual assault and what have you, or things that they've said, where I think the greatest impact of it all is those that have power. That transcends all things across racial lines and so on. So if there's one reason why you get over, that's it. The other part is, and I feel like we've talked about this on some other podcasts, is that I think there is we're probably desensitized to some of the things that maybe Trump says, because this is
well, that was Van's point. He can say anything,
right? But I don't. But I disagree that the reason why we're desensitized is, or let me put it this way: if we're desensitized. But if that's the case, then we shouldn't be talking about white privilege. He was talking about what Van was invoking, as I understood it, that we're not desensitized by it, that he can say those things and just get away with it regardless.
Because he's white. Right.
Because he's white. Where that's not the same thing as what I'm saying is why I think we're desensitized by it. I think that we essentially, especially those of us in the Northeast, even more so, but now as a country, this is what Trump has been in the making for 50 years, right? That we've known about him. Those of us who are in the New York area, he was in the news going head to head with Mayor Koch long before he had his, political aspirations or running for office. It was just based off of, the condition of New York City and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So we've been seeing this, and some of these outlandish things that people believe he's been saying. Those things have been there for a long,
he has been saying. Okay.
Those things have been there for a long time. So I think it's kind of his brand. He's established it from that standpoint. So that's what I think. And so I think when he says these things, it's Trump being Trump. I think there's some of that built in.
Okay.
And I think I think this part of that, and the other part is also, as I said, it's a billionaire. It's an incredibly rich person.
Okay.
And I think we love the idea of people who are rich and powerful. And then you layer on top of that, he was a celebrity in his own right. So you take this, we get desensitized by him defining a brand for the last 50 years. On top of that, he's a celebrity, and this world is filled with star effers. And then you put on top of that, this fascination, the way we look up to people that are rich, because we often feel like they figured out something that we don't know. And so we look at them with some sort of deference and so on. I think it's more of that. I think it's too easy to invoke the race card. And I think there are too many examples to why it's not this white privilege, because we see examples to where we have been coming after white folks. It just is. Has it always been that way? Of course, no, but nothing has. But certainly more so in recent history, I feel like there has been more of that. So that's my thing. I hope Van. Listen, I love some of the content and stuff that Van puts up there, but I'm not down with Team Van on this one.
So, and maybe just to be clear though. So, do you believe in white privilege?
Yeah, I think there. Yeah,
Okay. So you do believe in white privilege?
I think there's a privilege. Yeah, I think there's a privilege amongst white folks. I think there is a privilege amongst pretty people. Like there's those, some things are certainly built in.
Right.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, do you believe it's so? But you don't believe. So you believe in white privilege, but you don't believe in white privilege in terms of Donald Trump's situation in this scenario, running for president, and him saying all these crazy, idiotic things that he says. You don't believe that white privilege applies to Donald Trump in terms of running for president.
I'm saying, so I'm not totally removing the idea of maybe there's some white privilege built or baked into that. I'm saying that, in my opinion, I don't think that's what's out front on this. I don't think it's leading with, white privilege, which is what I think Van was saying. As I alluded to, I think there's other things that factor into that because of that. Because I think, listen, do I think another white male could come up and say the same things as Donald Trump does? That we have no history of knowing who this person is or being a person that way? Could he get away with it at the level, even if he were, a white male?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I do not. I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's.
Okay.
I think that's years in the making. Whether you like it or don't like it,
Right.
I just think with Trump, that's years in the making. I think people kind of roll their eyes to it. If you disagree with it, some people get upset by it. But when you can start saying, like, you hear something that you believe is outlandish, and then at the same time follow that up with, oh yeah, that sounds like him. Or if I told you, if I made up some comment and it was kind of clutch your pearls kind of statement, and I said, Donald Trump said that, you would probably believe me. He's built equity in that,
In
right?
terms of saying crazy things.
Right. That some people would think are crazy or offensive or so on. That to me tells you everything that you need to know about somebody.
Which is sad about America. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that's what that is. So my point is I'm not, and this is not me saying that it's right or wrong or advocating. I'm just saying that I think that it's more that than white privilege.
Because you think other white people wouldn't get away with it, whereas Donald Trump is, because of the money and maybe the fame, and just because people are desensitized to all the crazy stuff that he's been saying over the time. Because I do know that there's no way in hell, if Barack Obama ever talked about that it's okay to grab women by the pee and, calling Americans, that is a trash can or a garbage can. Like, there's no way in hell he could get away with any of the things that Trump has been saying while he's running for president. So to me, it's just a sad case with, however, because I can see your point that there may be other things. I do think that the white privilege is at the forefront of it, which to me is very sad, because, you just see so many things that, black and brown people could not get away with, that Trump is easily getting away with it. And to your point, I see what you're saying. There are other things, but I just think that the white privilege at the forefront of it, because to your point, and we've talked about the pretty privilege thing before, it is a real thing, so it does exist. So I can see that, but I guess the problem, with white privilege, pretty privilege, any kind of privilege, it's fine when it's, certain situations, right? But I feel like when a human being is running for president of the United States, and for someone to have their to have a character like that, or to think the way that he thinks, it's, to me, personal opinion, just think it's a little bit crazy. Because I think that before, just my personal opinion on, politics, like, we have a couple days left to vote, right? It's just crazy to me that some people will think about policies before the actual character of the actual person. Like, I'm thinking about the character of the actual person way before policies. If I have to pay a little more taxes and money because in order to get the best character person in there, then that's what I got to do.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
I know you do. I know.
Yeah, I think, to me, policy is what affects.
Do you care about character?
Policy affects our lives, right? Our lives, our day-to-day lives. And I'm not suggesting that, listen.
And the character does as well, because that makes, in terms of you making a decision, listen, you make decisions off of your character.
What character flaw are we talking about? If someone, I'm sure we can point out something and make some example to suggest how character is that. But you know what? There's no requirement to be someone that everyone likes.
Sure. Right.
In order to do the job effectively.
Absolutely. Right.
So you can't find that if you ran a lemonade stand and had 2 workers, let alone trying to run a country with 300,
you might have someone who has a great character
with 320 million people.
Right.
So I'm not going to get concerned with these cult of personalities.
Yeah.
This It is, to me, it's about policy. If the policy aligns with you, your family, your community, what's important to you, to me, I think that's what should lead the way in terms of how someone votes. Not whether or not someone says please and thank you and so on. Like that, to me, it's a nice to have, but it's not essential, in my opinion, to get someone's vote.
So it's very interesting right now. Voting, election day is November 5th. We have early voting going on right now. And there's a new new story just came out today, how there are there's not so much undecided voters. They're actually, story just came up that they're secret voters. So it's where family and friends are being very secretive about who they voted for. And I said to myself, why would someone be, or why would they find it so important to be secretive about who they're voting for?
Well, we saw this during Trump's first term,
Okay.
where it came out and the polls were absolutely wrong, because and so post-election, what they learned from that is that although a number of folks voted for Trump, they didn't feel comfortable talking about it, either from the reaction that people would give them, they would receive from people. They maybe agreed with some of those policies like we talked about, but maybe themselves didn't necessarily agree with some of the other rhetoric and some of the things that he said. And they want to align themselves with those because people have a way of attaching you all into someone, right? Like, so you can't parse what you want from someone. So if you support this person, either side you're on, somehow we have this kind of wholesale ideology that you are aligned with. And that's not the case. So there were folks that were either lied to pollsters or were or not fully honest in terms of disclosing who they were going to vote for.
Even their own partners and their family members?
Yeah.
What in the hell?
Listen, who knows what this, listen, you create an environment where people can talk, right? But you know, Jay, that's not the case with everyone. People are very polarized and have very strong stances on this. So some people don't feel, listen, when you step behind it, there's a curtain there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, so you can have some privacy.
Right,
like
right.
If you don't want to, like people don't want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it.
In your opinion, don't you think we all should be proud of who we vote for?
No, I don't know. Like,
I know it's your opinion.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know if that has anything to do. Who needs to be proud? Like, what are you proud of what you?
I mean, listen. I'm proud to vote, to cast my vote.
That's you. But sometimes for some people, it's the lesser of two evils, right? You hold your nose and you pick one, right?
No, I'm talking about just proud for voting, number one.
Right. So
and
you
then
say you vote.
Who you vote for?
Well,
shouldn't you be proud for who you're voting for? No,
I don't. I'm saying not necessarily. Sometimes it could be the lesser of two evils.
See,
you can sometimes, right?
Okay.
Those things can be. They don't have to be together. You can be proud of the opportunity as an American, to be able to vote.
It's your duty.
Because not all Americans have that.
That
right?
is true.
So not all Americans have that ability to be able to vote.
Right.
So it's right here, phone in here. It's
this is coming from the man who always reminds me to turn my phone off, and now his phone's going off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. Back to regular programming.
That was my phone?
Yeah, it was your phone, not mine.
All right. I guess it went to voicemail.
Yeah, he's going to blame you next, Doc.
My bad on that one, right? Probably, maybe that was Trump calling.
Oh, that was Trump? Keep going, Cage.
Right?
Keep going.
It's not white privilege. You tell him. But listen, I think you don't have to necessarily be all in. Like, you can be proud of voting and not so happy with the choices, but the idea that you've given this right as an American, which not all Americans have that right to do, and still be kind of comme ça on a candidate.
I think it's very sad.
Oh,
and let me speak to you American people.
You're dramatic.
I think it's very sad for you to go to the polls and cast your vote for whoever you want to vote for. Is fine. 100% agree with that. But when you do vote for that person, you make that vote, you should be proud with who you voted for. And you should be able to sing it out loud to the whole world. Your spouse, your family, your friends. It shouldn't be a problem. You're casting your vote. What is the secret? You should be proud of who you are voting for.
Okay, so if you're going to say should,
you should be proud.
Yeah, you should.
Right.
Okay, it should, but that's not reality.
Here's the thing, Kate.
That's not reality.
And by the way, if you're not proud of who you voted for, then maybe you shouldn't have voted for that person.
No, that has nothing to do with it. You just listen, man. Life is not so linear, dog. It's not just if you're not proud. Like why does it have to be every aspect of what this person is campaigning on to the point that you'd have to be proud?
Oh,
maybe you just think that
sure.
one person is better suited to run the country than
Right.
the other, right? You're comparing them against each other. What is this proud to?
Because
what is
just
this?
like you
I
said,
didn't give
you're
birth
right.
to I just want to give him a vote. I didn't give birth to the person.
No, but here's the thing. You're right. No one is going to like every single thing about the candidate that they vote for, either their policies or their character. Sure, no one's going to like everything, but you should like a majority of their policies and a majority of their personality. You should be, if you're going to make that vote, you should be proud to vote for that person, whether you like everything about them or not.
Think about what you said. You should be in line with their policies, right? But what if that candidate does not present the policies that you're aligned with?
I don't have a problem with that.
Right. The problem with it is that this sense of, you're saying pride. You should be proud.
Whoever you vote for, you should be.
I think that's an
you should be.
interesting
You
word
should
to
be
get.
proud
Listen,
to vote. Whoever you voted for, you should be proud that you voted for them.
Okay, so
you shouldn't have to keep it a secret.
Well, again, I don't disagree with that, but I'm not caught up on it the way you are. Like I said, there's a reason why there's a curtain on the voting booth. It's no one's damn business but your own, and you shouldn't feel compelled to want to talk about. I don't even care if it's even with your spouse. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it.
You know what I think?
There's a reason why that it's there, and it's not just for one candidate or another. That's between you and yourself, who you want to vote for based on one of those issues. And I'll bet you a week's pay that the candidates don't give a damn whether you're proud of them or not, as long as they get your vote.
Of course, they don't care.
Right,
I'm talking about the voters. But you know what I think, Kay?
who
I
cares?
think that there are people who don't speak about who they vote for. I think they're embarrassed. I think they are embarrassed to talk about it. Why?
Maybe.
Because they know whatever candidate that they're voting for, whether it's Trump or whether it's Kamala, they're not going to talk about it because they're embarrassed that they're actually voting for them.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's it.
I don't know. I'm not inside someone's head, so I don't know what their motivations are, whether they're embarrassed or whether they just choose to keep it private.
Because if someone asks me who I voted for, I'm proud.
Right. But, Right. But that's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your choice, and that's great that you can talk about that. But there's some people don't, and sometimes it's not based off of solely on the individual.
Of embarrassment.
It's not based solely on the individual, but also the way the reaction is from other folks who may not be as progressive in their thinking as you, or may be as receptive. There are people that may lose their jobs. There are people that lose friends. And so I'm not upset at someone for wanting to keep that private because of how this thing reverberates and how other people seem to be so invested in it, to the point where people will attempt to harm others based on their political affiliations. And listen, this is not singular to the U.S. In other countries, these political battles happen with other countries. I was away in another country during the political cycle. I couldn't. I drove, damn near drove into this big protest, and so it was very violent and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So it happens. So I don't have any issue with anyone thinking, hey, maybe it's best that I keep my opinions to myself and leave it at that. I do agree with you with, if you have an opportunity to vote, go ahead and vote. But in terms of using your word proud, I don't think pride has anything had to do with any of it. That is a nice to have. If you feel so compelled and so much so that you're proud of the candidate, well, God bless you. A round of applause to you. But I would often say that if there's anything like human nature, you're probably not aligned with a lot of the policies that, but you should hopefully choose the one that, meaning candidate, that best aligns with, okay, this one has more policies than I can support than this candidate. And then for that, you go make your vote. I think probably has anything to do with it. And so going full circle back to what brought this thing up in the first place is this white privilege. Okay. I don't know how that ties into being proud, but the whole white privilege thing to me is not the thing that leads this. I think it's there, 100%. I think in this country, we're very polarized by race relations. It is this country's original sin. So I'm not surprised that Van or anyone else would want to invoke that. I just think that there's more there than just saying, hey, it's white privilege, because we've got a number of examples of where we've seen it where that is not applicable with other folks. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I agree with you. I believe that there's more to it. I think I do agree with Van, though, that white privilege is at the forefront. But Donald Trump is a different kind of guy, too. So there's lots of other layers to Donald Trump as well, too. So he probably has some equal, some kind of equal type of privileges as well with just the white privilege as well. So
I feel like with Donald Trump, had he not done the Apprentice show, his popularity wouldn't be as much, because people got to watch him actually on TV for a few years prior to him running for president. So, and then any fan of that show, I could definitely see them like, yeah, I like Donald, I like the show, and I'm going to vote for him, you know, irregardless of whatever his policy was. So I think that kind of drives folks.
Of course it does,
him,
Doc. And thanks for chiming in. But that's a part of what this society, like we love celebrities, superstars, a bunch of star effers, I think is the term, right? I mean, can anyone definitively talk about what Arnold Schwarzenegger's, what his platform was, right? But he was a mega star, right? And that helps. That's just who we are as a society. So those things, absolutely, I agree with you.
Very interesting with him. He's now supporting Kamala. And he said something which I think is great. He said that he's an American before he's a Republican. And that just goes back to what I was saying earlier, that, you gotta really, you don't have to do whatever what you got to do. But basically what Arnold is saying is that you have to vote. Well, he and what he believes in, that people should vote about character over policy. You can have someone with the greatest policies in the world, but if their character is to shit, and if that's just your opinion on it, then most people aren't going to go vote for the guy who has the policies when they believe that their character is to shit. And there are a lot of Americans that believe that Trump's character is to shit. I believe even a lot of the people who are voting for Trump, to your point, they know his character is to shit, but they don't care because they are voting for him because of his policies, and they want to keep it in real. Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
So which goes to my point where you don't need to be proud. I've never been. That shit just sounds crazy to me. That you think that someone has to be proud of their candidate. Like, that's bananas to me. Like, I'm like proud of accomplishments and people for loved ones and things that have. But I don't get that. But
so Doc, let me ask you something. When you vote,
proud.
When you vote, I'm sure you're proud. I'm sure you are proud.
You sure?
That I'm sure.
You're sure?
Well, let me ask. Why
don't you ask him? You're sure what? You're sure that he's
because
proud?
I know Doc is a smart man.
This has to do with aptitude now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm sure that you are proud that you have the right to vote. Absolutely. Because your ancestors fought very hard for you to have that right. And also, in addition to that, I'm sure whoever you vote for, and let me not put words in your mouth. Right. My bad.
Right.
Let me ask you something. Whoever you voted for in the past, were you proud about the person that you voted for? You were proud that you voted for whatever candidates you voted for in the past?
I don't know if I can say so much as pride as more, I would say, happy if my candidate won.
Right, which is totally different than feeling pride.
So if I voted for someone and they actually won, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. So if they lost, you wouldn't.
I would be like, man, they lost, but I don't know if it's a proud to be able to vote, yes. Pride over the actual candidate,
right? Seeing your child walk across the stage on graduation day after all of the work they put in, all of the sacrifices you maybe made for for them. They walk across and get their degree, their diploma. That feeling that you feel that when they turn around and move that tassel from one side to the other, that's pride. Right. You feel proud of them. Never have I ever felt that feeling about a president. Somebody that I voted for, like that shit just sounds crazy to me, Jay. And
you see,
so I guess the opposite side of that is, if you're advocating for that, so I want to know, like, so I guess this is you saying that you felt proud for all of these folks that you voted for.
Absolutely. Let's say Kamala wins, right? Let's say Kamala wins, because I am going to vote for Kamala. Let's say she wins. I am proud of everything that she has done in her life to get to where she is today. She stepped into this race at the last minute, or put into the race, however you want to call it. She's in the race at the last minute, and she's done a damn good job, whether she wins or loses. If she loses, I'm still proud of her, because I'm going to vote for her. But if she loses, I am still proud for everything that she did in order to get the White House. I'm proud of it. Right. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Right. It does, and I'm proud that I voted for her. Right. Win or lose, it doesn't matter.
So you're proud of her because she
everything that everything that she's done in her career.
So you're proud of her if she won. Are you proud of her because she won?
I'm proud of her, like I just said. I'm proud of her regardless.
I'm asking you.
I said it before. I said I'm proud of her regardless of whether she wins or lose. I'm proud of her.
So you wouldn't? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Win or lose, I am proud of her.
Yeah,
because I cast my vote for her.
Right. I'm not that invested like that. I want a country to run in accordance.
You're not so invested in your country, or
I said I want a country that is run and governed according to a set of policies and standards. And in this case, I don't have to feel this sense of kumbayatic pride about the person that we elect for president. I want people to do their damn job.
So even if the candidate,
I want the person to do the job.
Americans, which you are a garbage can.
I want the okay, so I'm not in the loop. I didn't hear him say garbage can.
Oh, he called the Americans a garbage can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I have a problem with that. If the policies align,
you don't have a problem with that. Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I don't. I just that shit does not bother. What bothers me are real kitchen table issues. The cost of goods, and like the things that, the cost of goods, the safety of our country, the safety of our borders, right? Like those things, the American ideal. If as a candidate, you don't have a plan or policy or supportive of those initiatives, but you're a swell guy, it means nothing for me. Like that's a nice guy, that's a good guy, sweet guy, and the country's going to hell in a handbasket. Like I don't, it does not bother me. Now, if I had my druthers, would some of those things be there? No, of course not. I'm not numb, I'm not blind. But would that stop if I generally felt, and I'm not saying, I haven't said whether I'm supporting Trump or Harris.
I think we all know.
No, we don't know, and please don't.
I said I think we do.
But anyway. Don't cast aspersions, please.
No, it's all good.
I'm just saying that to answer your question, it's just baffling to me that it's about pride and all these other things too. But it's your vote, and you spend that vote currency the way that you want to. I was just pointing out the fact that not in my criteria. It's one of the things, but it's not on the top of the list. It's not at the top of the list. I want to see what affects me, what affects you, what affects other Americans, and the things that are important. So everyone should have their list in mind of what's important to them.
Sure, I agree.
And when you sit down and listen to a candidate, see if those things resonate with you. If that's what you want, in my opinion, then that's what you vote for. Now, there may be some other things about this candidate that you disagree with. Well, then that's what you have to weigh, right? No different than what we as human beings do in a multitude of relationships that we have. You plus minuses, good, bad, outweigh the thing, the deal breakers, the non-deal breakers. I don't see this as any different. So I don't know. To me, that makes sense. Now, you mentioned something about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, if he wants to go with Harris, then so be it. All right, and if you feel that it's because of something,
because of character first.
Right, but if you feel that if it's because of character, all right.
Yeah, he said he's an American first before a Republican. Yeah,
fine.
Basically, he's talking about his character, and that's why he's not. He's a lifelong Republican.
I don't get that. I don't get that character thing. He said, I don't get that. Like that's you saying that. That's not like Arnold can speak for himself. Hell, he's bilingual. He can say it in multiple languages. I didn't hear him say that. I heard you say that. You're saying that it's about like who says to say what it? Well, I know that a couple of years ago when they did The Apprentice with Arnold Schwarzenegger and it bombed. Okay. And Trump came out and roasted him for it. It seemed like since that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger has had an axe to grind towards him. And something that, dog, I'm not making this shit up.
No, I didn't say you were making it up. I'm saying he's just being a hater. Obviously.
No, it's not being a hater.
Of course.
The show did not do as well with Arnold Schwarzenegger than it did with Donald.
We're not talking about that.
I'm talking about
it. But I'm talking about Trump is just being a hater.
You gave an example of why. I don't know how, but you essentially said why Arnold Schwarzenegger
brought up Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just responded.
And I'm saying to you, I didn't hear him say that. All I'm saying is that a counter to that as to why I did it is, well, why can't it be this thing over here? So if you're going to make shit up and say what he said, well, shit, I guess that's open season.
So does character matter to you, generally speaking?
Of course, character matters.
So if you were dating two women, and one of them was gorgeous as all hell, great career, gorgeous, all of that stuff, just phenomenal, right? Then you had woman B, not really good looking at all, doesn't really have a job, but she is the sweetest woman, has the greatest character in the world. Her personality is phenomenal. And you had the choice of these two women. Which woman would you pick?
I would pick the person that best suits me for what I need at that time. And to identify a girlfriend versus someone running
Say your wife.
country.
Say your wife or your fiance. Who you're gonna make your wife?
Wife, fiance.
The one with the character.
Insert person here. My point is, it's whatever I feel is most important and what I need in my life.
So, do you need Do you need great characteristics out of people to associate with them?
Wait, say that. What's the question?
My basic question is character important to you when you're going to make key decisions in life, like a president, a wife, something like that, big decisions. When you're going to associate with is character important?
Yes, character.
Is it the most important?
It's character the most important.
Right.
It depends on what these circumstances are. It depends on what it is.
Like I said, key moments, like choosing a president or choosing a wife.
Well, well, first of all, I don't view those. I'll answer those separately. Okay. In the case of president, this character, personality, and I'm assuming you're alluding to Trump. No, listen. If it's policies, to me, you start to create. Well, what's most important, right? Now, what's going to affect me and my family is most important to me versus four-letter language. And if his character is depicted in such that listen, it's what affects me and my family and affects you, even though you may disagree with that president. That's what's most important to me. Now, to my wife, character's going to be character would take a different position on that list because this is my wife and not the president. Like I'm not waking up next to the president every day. I'm not, the president may not be the
you wouldn't want to wake up next to that orange man.
The president's not going to raise my kids and what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like, so I'm not sure what point you're trying to make, man. Like that's
my point is I'm just trying to see how important character is to you, because there's a consensus going around that if you had to choose If you asked most people would think that her character is better than his. Just generally speaking, looking from the outside, from all the things that have come out of his mouth.
It's.
I'm just saying, all the things that come out of his mouth.
Because you're in an echo chamber. You hear the same thing from the same kind of people all the damn time.
So I have all kinds of friends and speak to all kinds of people from different political backgrounds and religious backgrounds. I speak to everybody.
No, you don't.
So
you speak.
What do you mean? I speak to everybody.
You speak to everybody, but you don't listen to everybody.
Oh, I listen to everybody.
You don't listen.
Oh, I listen. I'm the best listener. I'm the best communicator in the world.
What'd you say?
I'm the best communicator in the whole world. Maybe you don't comprende. You got to take some English classes. Anyway, so I'm just saying, character is very important. But at the end of the day, it's election day. We all have to go out there and vote. We're taking too much time on this. But everybody, go out and vote. Get your vote on, whoever you vote for. But just keep in mind to vote. That's it.
Right, okay. I don't know what that had to do with Van and his white privilege, man, but...
Well, we got off. That was a subtopic of the white privilege. I do believe in white privilege. It is white privilege, and you believe in it too. So we both agree there. We do believe in white privilege. And this is taking a big part in the decision and how Donald Trump is still... Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, come on,
right.
Jay.
Yeah. Because we both agreed that if Barack had said any of these things,
that's not Barack's brand, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
We're
talking about white privilege.
No,
right?
But that's not Barack's brand.
It
that is not his brand.
We're not talking about that.
That's what I'm talking about.
If any black man, let's take Barack out of it then.
I disagree.
If any black man said any of the things that Trump said,
I disagree.
He would not even.
If all things lined up, I think there is still privilege associated with power. There's privilege associated with power. We have never had a president as rich as Donald Trump. We don't even know what they even. We've never had this.
He's not that rich.
All right,
he's gone bankrupt many times. Okay.
Next topic. I'm
just saying.
All right, come on.
Yeah,
it's just reckless and irresponsible for you to say that. You just say he's not that rich. Like you don't know, and all we have to go on.
Well, you don't know either.
All we have.
Do you know what? Do you know what's in his account?
Excuse me.
Okay.
All we have to go on is the information that is published to us, right?
Okay.
So if Forbes can publish a list and publish all of the 100, 200 billionaires in the world, and we look at that as fact and regurgitate that information, and he's on that list, that's fine to say, okay, and quote that source. But you have not seen anything to be able to come out and say that, and that's irresponsible for you to say that because you're just saying that, dog.
No, but you don't know either.
I'm using. Listen,
there are plenty. I'm just saying there are plenty of reports or whatever.
Go ahead, man. No,
so
you just
listen.
Like, nah, we're bigger than that.
Yeah.
Bro.
The bottom line is
we're better than that.
It's
dog.
white privilege.
We're better, than
and
that.
that's what I agree with Van, and it is what it is. But to your point, there are other things with Trump as well, and we all know that Barack and any other black candidate couldn't say
we don't
things.
know shit.
Well, I do. If you don't know,
we don't
I
know
do.
shit.
And I'll tell you, that's what.